Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we got the NewBeeDrone AcroBee65 BLV4 with the crossfire built right into the flight controller. I've been waiting on this flight controller for at least a year now, and I'm super pumped to have this flight controller in my hands, and I am really enjoying this thing. I've been flying it for about 4 weeks now, and I've put at least 100 batteries through this thing. The only thing I've had to do to it so far is replace the frame. I've cracked multiple of those, and I've also had to replace the props on this thing. So if it doesn't look stock, that is the reason. First off, we're going to go over specs on this thing, and then we're going to do some racing with this thing, and also we're going to do some freestyle. And while I'm flying, to save some time because we have a lot to cover in this video, I'm going to throw in my personal opinion. Let's get straight into it. We have a lot to cover. Let's go ahead and get to the scales and see how much this thing weighs. On the scales, this thing comes in at 25.93 grams. For comparison, the BLV4 ELRS version of this AcroBee comes in at 25.7 grams, and then the Hummingbird version 2 ELRS comes in at 23.99 grams. 26 grams is a little bit heavy on a whoop. The flight controller on this thing is the BLV4 with the crossfire built right in, and that's the biggest selling point, I believe, for this drone. Crossfire built right into the flight controller. No external RX, it's built right into the flight controller. This thing also does support 1 cell or 2 cell. On the whoop, we're running on 1 cell. The flight controller also has a built-in VTX, and it comes with up to 400 milliwatt of max output, and also has 5 and 25 milliwatt for racing. For the motors, we have the 08, 02, 27,000 kV motor, and I'm actually very happy to see NewBeeDrone stepping up the game in kV on motors. A lot of times previously they were making their motors very low kV, so I'm very excited to see the higher kV motors coming from NewBeeDrone. Let's get straight up in the air. First off, we're going to have some racing, then freestyle, and like I said earlier in the video, to make this video a little bit more compact and short, I'm going to be giving my personal opinion while we race and freestyle. Let's get straight up in the air. If there's one thing I find weak on this whoop and that I would change personally, it's the frame. NewBeeDrone builds great products, I feel like, but their whoop frames are a bit brittle. I think that's about to change here soon, and also don't tell anybody I said that. But they are about to release a new frame, and I'm super pumped about it. It's going to be super light and hopefully won't crack as easy as some of the old NewBeeDrone cockroach frames. This whoop is definitely my favorite whoop so far from NewBeeDrone, and that's not only because having the crossfire built right in, which I'm a huge fan of, but it's also because the motors, having 27,000 kV motors, is definitely awesome. These motors, I feel, give you all the power you want. Yes, they do make your batteries hot, and yeah, most likely your batteries might not last as long as if you had lower kV motors, but they definitely give you all the power you want. At least for me, I'm not that fast a flyer. I feel like they definitely give me all the power I want, and I really like these motors. If you're worried about ruining your batteries, I would advise to leave the throttle limit at 80%. I know the throttle limit on this thing comes at 80%. I bumped mine up to 100% because I wanted the max motor output. But if you're worried about damaging batteries or making them hot, you can keep that at 80%. Overall, flying this thing for the past 4 weeks, I haven't had any issues with it, and so I've been putting it through some deadly crashes, cracking the frame multiple times. I have replaced the props also, but have had very good reliability out of this thing so far, and I hope it continues because I'm really enjoying it. I would recommend this whoop to anybody wanting to push their limits a little bit more, potentially getting into something like the NewBeeDrone Mosquito Extra Large at a later date. You could take all the parts from this thing, swap it over to this, buy different motors and the frame, and you'll be ready to fly outside with a 2-cell setup. So that's what I would recommend it for. And also somebody wanting to push their whooping limits with 27,000 kV motors, which I am really liking. If you have any questions about this whoop, let me know down in the comments. Hopefully you guys found this video helpful, and we will see you next time.